Who the fuck is Dominic Breazeale? I'm Teekosey, and this is With Just 15 Defeats. Hi, Teekosey back once again with another round of With Just 15 Defeats. Today we're going to be discussing the announcement that Anthony Joshua is going to be defending his IBF heavyweight title against Dominic Breazeale. Okay, so this fight is scheduled to take place on the 25th of June 2016 live at the O2. Now here's the big question I know everyone was going to be asking. Who the hell is Dominic Breazeale? That's what everyone's going to be asking. So unless you're in the know, you might know something about Breazeale. But if not, the vast majority of Anthony Joshua fans out there are not going to know who Breazeale is. What he's got to offer. Is he an actual credible opponent? So this is all you need to know about Dominic Breazeale. He is a former Olympian. He actually fought at the same Olympic Games that Anthony Joshua won the super heavyweight title. Right? The same Olympics, London 2012. But the difference between Joshua and Breazeale is that Breazeale went out in the first round. So he didn't even get a victory at the 2012 Olympic Games, to my knowledge. Okay, and then he pretty much immediately went pro later that year, whilst Anthony Joshua didn't go pro for well over a year. It might have been 18 months. Breazeale took the pro game straight away. And he's got a record of 17-0, 17 victories, no defeats, 15 stoppages. So relatively decent, and as you can appreciate, he's at the same level in his career, should be at the same position that AJ's at. 16, 17 wins, most of them by knockouts, most of the opponents run of the mill. Okay, so what is the style of Dominic Breazeale? He's a big chap. He's another big chap. He is at the size of the modern heavyweight. He's 6'7". He's got massive long arms. Okay, but his actual style is very upright. It's a very traditional style, two hands up and just pushing out that jab. He's not a very dynamic fighter. He's very slow. He plods along. He moves forward. He allows his opponent to get in close. But what I've noticed is that his positioning is not fantastic, and often he's actually out of range of his opponent, which is not a good trait. It's definitely not a good trait. But similar to AJ, he's got awful head movement. So his head is a sitting target. Right? So let's just quickly talk about the last two opponents that Breazeale has had in the run-up to getting this shot. Right? So 2 fights ago he fought a guy called Teekosey. Now, interestingly enough, Teekosey is fighting Hugh Fury. So if you want to click on my channel, you'll be able to see a preview of that fight. And that preview will be come up in the next week. So we'll be discussing what Teekosey's got to offer in depth. But here are the facts on Teekosey. He's only 6 foot, so he's relatively small. 220 pounder. If he really wanted to, he could probably boil down to cruiserweight. They're the facts, right? So what happened in the Teekosey Breazeale fight? Breazeale won it on a decision. Now, he won it on a decision. It was a 10-round fight. A large proportion of people that have watched this fight will tell you that Teekosey won that fight. It was a very close fight. It was one of those fights where neither fighter really excelled. There were some good shots, there was some good action, but we ended up with a Breazeale win on points. Now, one of the judges had it completely one-sided, that Breazeale had won every single round, which is 100% not the case. That definitely didn't happen. Cassie won quite a few of those rounds, and he almost had Breazeale in trouble a fair few times in that match. So, considering he was such a small guy, it didn't look good. As I've said previously when I was kind of discussing Breazeale, even though Cassie is quite small, very short arms, Breazeale was out of range. Like he was missing him because he wasn't getting close enough. It was quite absurd considering the size and the length of his own arms. He should have been able to get Cassie in range and land bomb after bomb after bomb and evade the shots the other way. But it was almost the other way around. It was really poor performance, to be perfectly honest. And we move into another recent fight that Breazeale's had, and that was against Amir Mansour. Right, Amir Mansour's a fairly aging fighter. He's 43 years old. He's had a bit of a stop-start career because of prison sentences, but he's a decent guy. He's got decent power. Again, he's a smaller guy. But here are the facts. Mansour completely dominated Breazeale for the entire fight. It only lasted 5 rounds, but Mansour was completely dominating Breazeale. He knocked him down in the 3rd round. He had him in trouble again in the 5th and final round. But Breazeale managed to pull one punch out of the bag, and one punch out of the bag managed to upset the apple cart. And it created an injury for Mansour. Mansour continued on and tried to take out Breazeale in the last 60 seconds, didn't manage it, and he decided to retire on his stool. I believe he may have broken his jaw or something like that. But anyway, these are the last 2 fights that Breazeale's had, and he's been poor. He's been exceptionally poor. He could have lost both of those fights, to be honest. He could have been knocked out in his last fight. So that's the caliber of opponent. That is who we've got. That's who Anthony Joshua is fighting. That's who Dominic Breazeale is. Now, here's the question. Why have they selected him? My opinion, promotional. It's all about the promotion. They're going to be able to say, this guy is a dangerous knockout artist. He's a big guy. He's got huge attributes. And he is undefeated. The magic word in promotion. He's undefeated. He's a knockout specialist. He's going to be a danger. But there's no 2 ways about it. Everyone will be expecting Anthony Joshua to knock this guy out in 2 to 3 rounds. And because of the poor movement that Breazeale has, I'm expecting a flush KO. None of this on the floor, beating the count. I would have thought Dominic Breazeale is going to be knocked out. Now, here's another interesting thing. This is an IBF title fight. It's obviously not a mandatory, but in the IBF rankings, obviously Anthony Joshua is the champion. Where is Dominic Breazeale? On the current rankings that were released on the 15th of April 2016, so 10 days from when I'm recording this video, Breazeale is 13th in the rankings. 13th. Now, what's interesting about that is who is actually above him, who's currently above him. One position above Breazeale is David Haye. David Haye's had 1 fight in 4 years, and it was against literally a nobody, and he's above this guy in the rankings. So it's it shows you where this guy is and who he is, and he's obviously been offered quite a bit of money. They mentioned that Charles Martin, I know, somewhere between $3 and $5 million dollars to come over and basically hand his belt to Joshua. You think that this Dominic Breazeale maybe in line to get a similar payday. It's going to probably be 10 plus times what he's earned so far. So it's difficult for someone like him to turn it down. And the fact that he may also be thinking that Anthony Joshua might not be all that everyone's building him up to be, so he wants to take advantage of it. So he's going to come full of confidence, but here are the facts. The bell's going to ring when he's on his back. Right, if you got this far, I want to hear from you who you think is going to win the fight. You can leave a comment below, or you can take part in my poll. In the right hand corner of this video there's an icon which is a circle with an eye in. If you click on that, you'll get the opportunity to select one of the two fighters. It's as simple as that. This icon may have popped up during the video, so you may have already taken part in this poll. It'd be brilliant to get your feedback on who you think is going to win this fight. Also remember, I want to hear from everyone, so leave your comments below. Also, I would really appreciate if you click on the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. So thanks for watching, and this has been With Just 15 Defeats.